So we'll see if anybody else jumps in. So that I just told you enough about me, and I like to do sports, and there's a lot of reasons why I like to really look at sports, because it's really easy to see the sequence we all follow, those reactive responses that we all share. It's just so right in our face. It also exposes a lot of our cultural myths, right? And how we're glorifying and glamorizing certain things that aren't necessarily healthy or optimal. And then it really ultimately, it tells a story of what it's like to be human. We can really connect with the athletes or the performers, and we can feel what they're experiencing, and we can experience it along with them. And it's also interesting because we find ourselves aligning with some people, and we also become fans of others and join with other fans, and we have this camaraderie. It's just a fascinating look at the human experience through sport. So that's why I really like to look at it, but it's ultimately just a metaphor. It's a metaphor for how we live each day, right? So I'm going to go through, I don't think any of you have seen these pictures. Well, maybe Marcus has a little bit, but this was taken from the Australian Open just a couple of months ago. And this is a player who's number 3 in the world. His name's Zverev. And I'm just going to go through him quickly because I want you to just feel the experience, okay, of what he's experiencing. This is at the beginning of the match. He's shaking the ball kid's hand. He's in a good place right here. But within minutes of the start of the match, if you look at him here, there's a lot of muscle tension, a lot of effort, his facial expressions, the muscle tension in his arms, the amount of perspiration he already has. So he clearly is highly mobilized. This isn't calm and relaxed mobilization. This is, when I look at him, I see flight. I see a lot of sympathetic flight, right? Like, so he didn't sustain control. He went right into flight very quickly. And within another minute, this is like the very next point. Look at his body language here. You can feel it. That's not even flight anymore. That's beginning to shut down. It's fascinating. He's got very little muscle tension here. It's already depleting, right? Here he's even crouching. This is about 40 minutes into the match, first set. And he's completely crouching down. He's guarded, he's protected. He's looking up at his coach's box. He's looking for support. So he intuitively knows, hey, I need somebody else. I can't do this alone. He lost the first set. He's sitting there. He's actually completely like confused. And he's looking again at his coaching box and he's like, what's going on? I don't understand. Right? And he has very little resource, and he has very little strategies for how to handle this. Comes out, first game of this next set, and he's trying to pump himself up. This is great. He's actually trying to get some mobilized energy because he senses he's losing energy. He's getting into that dorsal response. So he's pumping himself up. He's tightening his muscles in his arms. He's actually screaming, and he's generating some sympathetic fight. Okay. But within one point, this is the very next point, look at his posture again. So he's already deflated after losing that point. He was up 40-30, now it's 40-all. And he's deflated. And these are not conscious choices, right? Here he is about 2 points later, and he's smashing his racket. He's again, his body knows, I've got to amp up. I'm falling and depleted and moving more and more into shutdown. And he smashes a racket, which again is mobilizing, but it's not ideal because he's not actually directing it toward executing something, but he's at least mobilizing. Okay. Again, another point later, right back, checked out. Oh my gosh, what's going on? So he's just toggling back and forth, toggling. Here he is again. He's kind of amping up, but doesn't even have enough energy to amp up, but he's got a little muscle tension going. And then again, what's going on? And then again. And he had just won this game. This is what's fascinating. He had won the game. It's even. It's 2-2 in the second set. And he still has no energy going. Here he is again, walking off. It's 5-5 now in the second set. The commentators are all going, hey, he's right in this match. It's even. He's real close. He's got this. You know, it's a 5-set match. But if you look at this body and look at that left hand in particular, that's not a body that's confident and in control, right? This is a blurry picture. I apologize. I was taking all of these on ESPN. I was zooming in and this was in the background. So I just saw him do this. They weren't putting this on the camera. So I tried to zoom in and get a snapshot, but here he is trying to break his racket again, but he stops himself. He overrides it. His body wanted to break the racket and he stops it. Knowing what I know and what we're all exploring, he probably didn't do himself a service here. Probably would have benefited to actually let his body chuck the racket, which is odd to say, but it probably would have. Here he is looking again at his team. He's saying, I don't know what to do. Somebody help me. And this is the most fascinating picture. This is his team. These are all four of these. One of them is actually his father, but they're all his coaches and support team. And look at their bodies. Look at what they're sending to him. Arms crossed, looking down, looking away, shoulders slumped. Right? So he's looking at his coach and his team for support, for connection. But they are also all under threat. And they are mimicking what they saw him experience. And they're not there to support him. We are all doing that to one another all the time, whether we know it or not, right? Like that's what's fascinating about this too. And here he was within minutes after that, he's done. He's walking off, head down, couldn't even look at the fans when he was leaving. So I look at sports, like I said, it's really a magnifying glass of the human experience. So what is the human experience? So basically in every moment, every situation, every interaction on the court, off the court, we either feel safe, we feel in danger, or we feel overwhelmed, completely overwhelmed by threat at every moment, including right this second, right? This impacts how we experience the world, how we interact with everyone, and how we feel about ourselves on the inside, right? It also impacts our health and our resilience and our performance. This is what we're after. This is the shared journey, right? We're on, and I'm going to quote Porges here, we're on an enduring, lifelong quest to feel safe, right? These are my daughters 20 or 17 years ago. I think she's 4 and almost like a few months old, Kate and Sam and little Leopard here. And this is what we're all after all the time, no matter what. And it drives all of our behaviors, drives our thinking, our feelings, is we're on this quest. The problem is, and this is universal, and Porges really points this out well, is that we misunderstand what safety really is. We misinterpret safety as removing danger, right? Putting up fences, when in reality, safety emerges inside our body, right? At the neural level. So the outcome is we're either walking around angry on the left. If you look at the left picture here, we're either angry, aggressive, and overreactive. Or in the middle, we're anxious, we're unsettled, we're stressed out, struggle to just sit and be peaceful. Or on the right, we're withdrawn, we're hopeless, we're disconnected. And we tend to label that as intentional. And what polyvagal theory really tells us is these are bodily reactions, right? It doesn't mean we're helpless to regain control, but we just want to first acknowledge where it's really coming from. And then collectively, the result is what we see here. We have systemic levels of anxiety and loneliness, depression, disconnection. We're seeing more and more addictive behaviors, chronic pain, medically unexplained symptoms. And in fact, I thought this was fascinating. 6 in 10 adults in the US have a chronic disease and 4 in 10 have 2 or more. That's amazing. But when you look at it from the neural perspective, it's actually not. Makes a lot of sense. So the solution, which is what we're trying all to do, is we're actually trying to help our bodies feel safe on the inside, right? To be able to rest and be still in homeostasis, to be able to navigate challenges and to intentionally shift through different physiologies. It's okay to ramp up, but we want to be able to ramp up with control. And if we do lose control, we want to know how to recover back to safety fully. So that is sort of the new way that I'm looking at health and resilience, is I'm looking at it as, it's no longer just, I'm going to flip to, it's no longer this. This is how I used to when I was really immature. This is how I'd look at health. Oh, he's ripped. He's in great shape. He has the capacity to endure. She eats really well, clean, strict diet, does everything right, disciplined, always shows up. Or an athlete, able to fight, never give up, right? Grit, grind, do anything. That's kind of the old way. And what I'm after here, and what I'd love for us to do together, is to start spreading a different approach to what health and resilience and performance are all about, right? It's the capacity to meet our body where it is. It's the ability to flexibly navigate those different states, to face challenges, but with control, with intention, with awareness. And it's the ability to fully recover back to ventral safety when we blow it, when we lose control, right? That's okay, but we need to know how to come back. And then really importantly, which I underestimated as a younger person, and until I really discovered polyvagal theory, was the engaging in safe and trusting and playful relationships, and how that is such a powerful piece of health and wellness. So I want to just share this. This is from Valentine's Day. This is a card, and it says, "My favorite spot in the world." And then I'll flip to the tagline here. "My favorite spot in the world is with you." Okay. And this is a card given by this gentleman here, the bald guy. His name's Ed. And Ed is 87 and Ann is 86. And I have trained Ed 5 days a week for 25 years. And then in the last couple of years, Ann has joined us. So I meet with them every single day, and they are the epitome of what health is, the way I'm seeing health now. He bought her that card at the car wash, because that's how he pronounces wash. It's the car wash. And he bought her that card and he gave it to her. And it was so cute. And he signed it. And she's like, "Ed, why'd you sign that card? Why didn't you put a sticky note on there so we could reuse that card next time?" Anyway, I just wanted to share with you, because if we go all the way back to that picture of my two daughters, we're on this lifelong, enduring quest to feel safe, and to feel safe on the inside, and to feel safe with another, which is what they have. So that's my little intro. And what I'd like to do in this group is to create that safe space here, right? What I call a container of safety, and to turn it into the play zone where we feel safe enough with one another to share ideas and to explore what we're each doing and how we are individually applying polyvagal theory to our own lives and to whatever it is we're doing, right? That's the goal of this group. And then ultimately, I could see that we take turns and we have different people present and we talk about different things, and we start building a real community around how are we embodying polyvagal theory in a way that's healthy and resilient and maybe performance, right? Whether it's just in our personal lives or through how we're coaching and leading others. So let me end screen share.